Hello and welcome to another 7 stories in 7 minutes. And this week, I want to concentrate a little bit on the NHS because for those of you that are watching in the United Kingdom, it affects you and me and everyone else around you. There is no opt-out for the NHS. I did write actually to the Secretary of State asking how I could opt out of the NHS per se, and I was told that because it was an insurance-based scheme that I couldn't. And basically, if you do have the unfortunate fate, if you like, to fall over and have an accident or become, ill where you need emergency treatment, I'm afraid the NHS is the only place to go. And most private hospitals don't have A&Es in them, I'm just saying. So let's look at the NHS 10-year health plan. This will show you that it was updated on the 30th of July 2025. But we all want to know what we're entering into, right? What kind of NHS do we have left? I'd say it was pretty gone, to be honest. But for those of you that want to know, that still want to access the NHS or know people that are accessing the NHS, let's look at the plan of it. So we're going to end the 8 a.m. scramble for online appointments. Yeah, you've all got to get up now at 6 o'clock in the morning, get ready to be on the phone for your online appointment at 6:30. Don't think that's going to work. And we're going to encourage GPs to work over larger geographies. Well, we don't have enough GPs to work over the geographies they've got. Now this concerns me, and I've highlighted it in green. At least double the number of people offered a personal health budget by 2028 to 2029. That means you're going to get your care rationed. A personal budget, that's been around for quite a while for people with learning disabilities and mental health, where they get an extra budget, but they have to be their own accountant pretty much, because you've got to save the receipts, you've got to justify what you've spent your personal budget on, and basically it's rationing. So how about this? You're 75, maybe you've got a high clinical frailty score, maybe you've got a few existing diseases. You know where I'm going with this. What's your ration of care going to be? Are you going to be rationed to maybe 3 GP appointments a year, or perhaps £5,000 worth of treatment? So what do you choose? Your hip, or maybe your hernia, or do you choose cancer? What do you do? And this is where we're going, folks. We're going to personal budgets where you're going to get rationed, I believe, with a certain amount according to your medical needs and to your income as well. We'll come on to that in a minute. And of course, the NHS app. So they're relying on the NHS app to book appointments, and they're going to establish a neighbourhood health community hub everywhere, so you're not going to need to go to hospitals. Let's go on, because there's one more slide I want to show you, and this one says they're going to deliver urgent care in the community. Urgent care in the community. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I don't like the thought of it. But outpatients, as we know it, are going to be gone. You're not going to be able to go to the hospital for an outpatient appointment. Gone by 2035. They're going to end the spectacle of corridor care. Well, I'd like to replace that with cupboard care or Costa Coffee care, because that's where people are being treated in A&Es at the moment. You're going to have mental health emergency departments and mental health ambulances too. We've talked about that before. So all hospitals will be fully AI enabled within the lifetime of this plan. Let that sink in, everybody. Let that sink in, because if we go to the story 2, we're looking at insurance. Health insurers are no longer just payers, and I'm going to quickly look at this and come back to it in more detail another time. But the next slide will show you that we're looking at a growing use of robotics. AI doctor will see you now. This is all private, because people apparently, according to this, 1 in 4 are opting for self-guided support rather than seeing a therapist. So that's maybe an AI chatbot perhaps. Tackling the obesity crisis. People are going private to get Wegovy, Ozempic and Manjaro. And improving outcomes in cancer treatment. People are having to wait so long for their cancer treatment, they're being forced to go private. So you can see 2-tier health. This is where we're going. Let's stick with ADHD, which is rather close to my heart, ADHD. And you'll see here that they're shutting the door to new NHS patients as demand soars. So 15 local areas have closed waiting lists. I'm an expert in ADHD. There's not much I don't know about ADHD, and I also do private assessments of kids with ADHD too, and autism spectrum conditions. So I can imagine that many parents will be worried sick now, knowing that their children are struggling at school and they can't get any support. This is where we're heading. Story 4, vaccines can help protect you and your baby. no, vaccines can't help protect you and your baby. We're looking at so many jabs now being given to pregnant mums. It absolutely horrifies me. And I just want to remind everybody that in my day, and I'm sure many of you watching, we weren't allowed to take anything when we were pregnant because of thalidomide, not even a paracetamol. So unless something is life-threatening, I wouldn't be going near anything, let alone a whole host of injections. Just saying. But the UK HSA are trying to get pregnant mums to go and get jabbed. Protect your newborn baby. Fresh air, good food and rest. Story 5, private baby scan clinics. I didn't even know that these existed, but apparently they do up the high street. And if somebody just wants a 3D scan that maybe the hospital doesn't produce, or they want their kids to go in and see baby on the scan, they can drop into their local high street shop. But the trouble is, and what they've warned about, is that some mums are being given wrong diagnoses, and they're being told there's something abnormal with their babies, and they're seeking a termination. So this is coming from inexperienced people, and they do say that everyone is so concerned, health professionals are so concerned, that anyone using an ultrasound machine can call themselves a sonographer. So please, everybody, think carefully before you go into your next high street scan shop, because it might not give you the information that you're expecting. Story 6, half of pharmacists say they support the assisted dying. I don't think there's much more I need to say on that, is there, except that of course we're looking at the Lords very carefully, and now we seem to be getting this propaganda of medical professionals seem to be just over half approve or support assisted dying. I personally don't. And we're going to end on story 7, because you remember I said we've got a bit of a war going on between the GPs and the pharmacists, and the GPs are upset that the pharmacists are getting all the work and they haven't got the work. Well, now in CD, they're calling for all Pharmacy First funds to be reassigned to GPs. Eroding GP relationships. Do you trust your GP? Because they think if they get the money back and you can go and see your GP, you'll trust them more. I'm not so sure. Let me know your comments, please, in the comments box. And please like and subscribe and share if you want to. I'm not saying everybody should share, but I really, really appreciate it. It does so much for the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And don't forget, keep smiling.